going with the president and CEO of Body Mind Incorporated, Michael Mills. How are you, sir? And Happy New Year to you.
I'm good. Happy New Year to you, Shad. What a great week for cannabis.
Excellent week for cannabis, obviously. And what's your take been on all this? It's obviously great news for the entire industry. And what is it? Close to $1 billion has been raised in the last 7 or 8 days. Like, this is a clear sign with a lot of institutional buying taking place now.
It really is. It almost feels, and we've seen so many industries accelerate because of COVID, and it almost feels like cannabis has accelerated as well. I don't think everyone expected all the ballot initiatives to be won. I don't think a lot of people expected a blue wave. And, certainly the Democrats have a history of supporting a cannabis-friendly legislation. So we'll have to see what happens moving forward. But this has been really exciting.
So let's begin then with your business. How, I guess, once a lot of these bills, let's say the MORE Act, the Safe Banking Act does pass, once those are implemented, what do you think this does for your company overnight?
Well, I think, there's been some real impediments to the growth of the cannabis industry. And I think that the cost of capital and the access to capital to grow these businesses has really been one of them. Obviously, whether states are legal or going legal, that's another one. But regarding cost of capital, all we really need to see is some sort of a Safe Banking Act that gives cannabis companies really a level playing field with so many other industries. And when you look at, the cannabis industry, it's been tough to get money. It's been expensive debt. At times it's been almost impossible to get capital. That really seems to have freed up and changed. So I see that as being something that's really going to drive the industry forward. I think that when you look at any business, if once you have access to bank accounts, once you have access to mortgages, once you have access to lines of credit, that's really going to enable the business.
Think of the hurdles that this industry has had to jump through, still surviving, and we haven't even scratched the surface yet. So imagine once that's all implemented, the true potential of the industry. It's exciting to say the least. One of the other things that's obviously encouraging with this industry is it's anticipated managed revenues are moving over to consolidated revenues in Q1. So once that is implemented, what does that mean for your company that revenues are moving over to the top of the line income statement? And for those that don't understand, maybe walk us through what that means.
Yeah, I can certainly do that. So you'll see this with a number of cannabis companies where they'll report the managed revenue or the pro forma revenue for all their operations, but you can only report financial information for operations that you have 100% control of. So for example, if it takes a while for a license to transfer into your name, even though you've gone through the process and you know what's going to happen, you can't report those financials. So it creates this real disparity. So when people are looking at your reported financials, they're not seeing a true picture of the company. We're in a situation now where we're going to start consolidating almost all of our what we would call managed revenues on the quarter that's coming up right now. So we've been a little bit late reporting it, but we expect to have it out for the end of the month, and really excited to show people a full picture of how the company's doing.
That's great. Diversification. We talked about this last time when we spoke. You're obviously operating, for those new to the investing space when it comes to the cannabis industry, you operate in 4 states, California, Nevada, Arkansas, and Ohio. Let's begin with the last 2 states. Arkansas in the fall, one of your dispensaries was named Dispensary of the Year. So obviously there's a lot of people within the state that like the business model that you're doing. So maybe provide us with an update as to how things are progressing as far as your footprint in Arkansas and the ever emerging state of Ohio, home to, 11 or 12 million people.
Yeah. So, in Arkansas and Ohio, we have development projects going on in both those states. When we designed our facility in Arkansas with our partners, Comprehensive Care, it's a dispensary out front and then a cultivation or production area out back. And so we built the whole facility out and decided that we were going to open the dispensary only, focus on getting it running well. Obviously, thanks for mentioning the award. Very happy about that award. And we're just in the process now of setting up the cultivation. We're probably, I would guess, a month away from having everything set up. At that point, we get our permits and we can start the cultivation in Arkansas. In Ohio, it seems like years ago, we applied for our licenses there. We won with our in-state partners. We won a dispensary license, which we've been operating for close to 2 years now. And we also won a production license. So production is manufactured. So oils, edibles, extracts, something that we're really, well known for in Nevada. And that production facility is in process. We're just at the drywall stage right now. So we expect that to open late spring of this year. And that's going to let us bring our branded product portfolio into the Ohio market.
Well, a lot of companies will talk about their strategy is to obviously buy license in jurisdictions with limited, obviously, license available. You're actually doing that. Walk me through Ohio. There's 11 million people. How many currently dispensaries are across the state?
Yeah, so there's actually less than 60 dispensaries that have been licensed in Ohio. I think there's less than 55 that have been opened. We were one of the first dozen to open in that state. And as you mentioned, there's 11 million people there. So it's,
Yeah.
it really truly is a limited license state.
Let's shift our attention to the West Coast in California. This is the behemoth of the industry, right? A lot of dispensaries, some have been closed, obviously, due to COVID. This is an industry anywhere from 6.9 billion to 8.1 billion in annual sales through adult use cannabis, and another 250 million with medical cannabis. So tell us in particular as to how things are obviously progressing. You're in and around the San Diego area. Again, the strategy is going after certain areas with limited, obviously, license available. But are you where you want to be right now? And how much growth potential do you see yourself in the next 12 months within the state?
Yeah, we've always liked California, and to a certain extent, a lot of the larger cannabis companies have stayed away. That's changed so much over the last month or so.
How
We've
so?
seen we've seen the subversive capital, the largest cannabis SPAC ever created.
Amazing,
Um,
isn't it?
the, yeah, it really is. So Jay-Z is involved with that, and I'm sure your audience knows about it. We've always liked the state. We have a dispensary in San Diego, again, another limited license market, 1.4 million people. There's only 16 dispensary licenses in San Diego. And what we're starting to see is we're starting to see larger companies come in and buy up these dispensaries. So just in the San Diego market alone, there's been 2 transactions in the last couple months. One of them very recently, Columbia Care came in and had a transaction for a dispensary. I think it was about $16 million for the dispensary.
Wow.
And then another one relatively close to us that was in the $36 million range. So we're starting to see M&A happening. We're starting to see acquisitions happening in that market.
Those are
Uh,
big numbers, but 36 to 16, what do you think is the, I guess, the difference when somebody's buying something that, that's a lot of money, obviously, right?
it is, it's a big difference, and you always have to compare apples to apples. Like we're the early dispensary. The one that sold for the most money, I think, was one of the first dispensaries in the state, and certainly one of the first dispensaries in San Diego. So they've been around for a long time. They do a huge sales volume. We're the new kid on the block.
Yeah.
We opened in April. We opened right in the middle of COVID. Our dispensary sales in San Diego, we're just thrilled with them. They're going up and up and up every month.
I
We also have
can't I can't help but feel like the potential for a lot of West Coast operators, as let's face it, if federal legalization comes into fruition, what an opportunity is for a lot of companies out there that are doing the groundwork right now and like what the future holds. Because as you said, like when it comes to overall operations, you got a lot of companies that are operating at a half the cost compared to some of the operators on the East Coast.
Yeah, it's every market's different. We really like to focus in on the states that we're in. We take a very close look at opportunities. Going back to California, we've been looking at various opportunities to expand in that state
Yeah.
for a while now. And one of the things that's really interesting in the state of California is everyone assumes that because the state is legal, that you can have a dispensary license or a cultivation license in any jurisdiction. And what's actually happened is, and it's similar to some of the provinces in Canada where, it's a jurisdictional decision. So there's a lot of cities and towns in California where the actual city or town has sort of backed off on allowing dispensaries, and we're starting to see those opening up. So,
Hmm.
our model has been to look for limited license states, limited
Yeah.
license jurisdictions, win applications in those. We don't win them all, but we do win some of them and develop those efficiently. And it's been a great way to build shareholder value.
Michael, I'll leave this off. We are really focusing on a lot of companies that aren't necessarily the big MSOs in the States, but there's a lot of companies that are quote unquote flying under the radar that has huge potential. You're one of them. So if you're speaking to my viewers right now that are investing, why does it make sense as we finish things off as to like moving forward to invest in a company like yours?
Yeah, Shad, I think that anybody who understands the progression of our company is, we've grown this company in a very structured way. We've focused on good markets to move into. That continues to be our focus. And I think if you take a look at the milestones that we have achieved to date, and our ability to grow going forward, we have a really great company here.
Excellent. Tell Trip I say hello. Let's keep in touch, and I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us here today.
Thanks very much. Have a great day, Sean.
You as well. Thanks, Michael.